So now I'm joined in studio by Bianca Nagy.
Hello.
And why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Bianca.
And she's a lovely individual who has done some great volunteer work in the community of Oakville, where I'm from. And you've been doing stuff with health at 232, and you've been doing work since high school, promoting sexual awareness and STD prevention, So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and the organization you're with?
Well, it first started when I was in high school and around grade 10 and 11. We were in a group called SWAT, the Student Wellness Action Team, and we decided that we wanted to do presentations geared to grade 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s about drugs, alcohol, and relationships. And we decided to speak to the school nurse, Mary Tabac, and she gave us pretty much just guidelines and said, you know what, you just go. Teachers and the nurse leaves the room, and us peers talk to people who are younger, even in the same age of us, about these subjects. And they just felt more comfortable with just us in the room because we're not intimidating or anything. And we had really great feedback to the point where we were asked to be at a regional-wide conference called the Party in the Right Spirit, which is brought by youth for youth. And that's pretty much where it's started. And then I was on the youth steering committee for this sexual health center. And yeah, that's...
So now it's only appropriate that I ask you, why exactly did you get involved with sexual health? Like, what's your personal reason behind this?
I guess I'm into promoting or talking about sexual health because I guess growing up in my family, talking about sex was never taboo. I was really lucky. Everyone was pretty open, and I guess just my nature of my personality, I've always been very respectful and willing to listen to what people have to say. I'm not judgmental. I just find the subject very comfortable to speak about, and I think that I kind of give that vibe off to other people. And whereas, maybe if you talk to a school nurse about it, you might feel like you may be getting judged. But I've had people in high school come up to me asking me certain questions, and if I didn't know the answer, I would go find it for them, and I would get right back to them. And, I wouldn't talk about it with anybody else. It's not my business. And I guess, I just...
Do you find that because people are coming to you, or you can relate to them in age, that they open up more to you than they would to a public health nurse?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I found that, 90% of the people that have come up to me said that, I'm so thankful that you're so open about it, because I would never go up to my parents, or I would never go up to, another adult figure, which I do encourage people to do, because if you talk to someone that you really trust and who will be honest with you, then that's even better, because that they're a great role model. But because we're all on the same page, we're all the same age, I guess they just feel more comfortable discussing these things with me or the people that were in my group.
So now talk to us a little about this clinic, and it just opened up in North Oakville. So tell us a little bit about what this clinic is and what it can do for young adults between the ages of 18 and 25 and even younger.
Yeah, the clinic is for all ages, and obviously we offer sexual health services by appointments and jobs. We also have needle exchange services. It's great because it includes pregnancy testing, birth control counseling. We also it's contraceptive prescriptions. We do everything from what is called the point-of-care testing for AIDS and HIV, which is all anonymous. Like, we are completely confidential. When we call, we don't say who we are or anything. We try to keep it not like secret, but, well, essentially yes, but it's just because that's why they go there, and we want people to go there.
Right.
Is because we try to respect their privacy. And with this point of care, if you have it within minutes. And that's what's so great about it. You don't have to go and think, oh, I'm going to have to be thinking about it for 2 weeks. No, that very minute.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I saw this article in the Oakville Beaver, and I thought this is a phenomenal idea and a phenomenal effort by you, because I've personally been in my own situation where I've had to, sit and possibly wait for a phone call for 2 weeks, and it's like 2 weeks of the longest, it's like the longest weeks of your whole life. You're sitting there, you're thinking every phone call that comes to your cell, your house, you start to like have anxiety. Your heart races, and you start to wonder, and to be able to go somewhere and do it on site takes the pressure off. It would make it actually easier because, I think a lot of the worry is like, I don't actually want to know the answer, but if the time you decide to go, you're just like, I want to know, and then it's right there. Because you don't have to wait and be like, well, I shouldn't have gone because now I don't want to know the answer.
Exactly.
So, in the article, the clinic's at the South Service Road.
Yes.
And how long has it been open for?
It's been open just for about 3 or 4 months or so, and within the first couple months it's been open, it's already had approximately 330 clients come through the door. So it's been very busy.
And tell me a little bit about this clinic. I mean, you've touched on it, but is there a phone number you can call, or if you've never had sex but you're looking to get information on what to do, not what to do, but obviously like, what types of preventative measures you can take to, not get STDs. Is that's all available at this clinic too?
Of course. If you went to the clinic and just said, I just wanted to speak to a nurse about some questions, I know some of the nurses that work there, and they would make you feel secure and comfortable to answer any questions that you may have, no matter how embarrassing you may or may not think they are. There's no stupid questions. Absolutely, there's no stupid questions, and you can go. The best thing I would say is to go online. Just Google Health at 232. All the information will pop up right away. Give you a phone number, hours. Definitely look into the hours because it's open at certain times.
And is it open Monday through Friday, or can you go on the weekend too?
I don't want to give you incorrect information, but it is open Monday through Friday, but the hours are very different.
So just everybody who's listening, if you're interested, you can just go on the website and check it out.
Yeah.
And so obviously you have your own sort of personal connection, and you feel you're very passionate about this. Where do you see yourself heading in the future with this organization?
Well, unfortunately, now that it's open, I go there, and I like, I want to give them treats, and I go offering Timbits to the nurses, but now that I've gotten it open, I can't really work at the actual clinic. However, now that this is done, I've met some great elected officials, such as Councillor Somerville and Chair Gary Carr, and Councillor Somerville has given me the opportunity to perhaps work at or volunteer for other organizations. And once I finish my school for politics, I essentially want to go and do something where I'd be looking over these sorts of projects and kind of understanding how much work it goes into it, and perhaps moving it along further, or going an extra mile and see what we can do in our neighboring communities if they need help, or along those sorts. But yeah, I would love to work with youth-related projects when I get into politics. However, I guess we'll see and find out.
Now, this might sound like a strange question for me, but is this is strictly just sexual health? There is no... will you take in people who have sort of addictions? Is that sort of not the focus of this clinic per se?
I can't really say for sure. However, I'm sure if you were to go there, they would direct you and tell you where to go.
Right. So it is an open concept clinic, but if you go there and you're not sure what you need, they'll help you find what you're looking for. Maybe if it's not offered at their service, but somewhere else.
Again, they would probably tell you the exact address, phone number. They would tell you need to go here, and be as sympathetic as they could, and whatever they don't offer at that clinic, of course they'll show you where you can get help.
Now, you're only 20 years old, and you've been doing this for 5 years. When you tell that to other people, how do they react? That's quite an accomplishment, and you did it with 2 of your friends, and you're still doing it now. That's quite an accomplishment. Like, how do you feel about what you've done?
It's kind of surreal. I just remember the idea of, I really would like to open a sexual health clinic close to the mall, close to the bus terminal for everyone to go to, and I also want it confidential, and I want it for all ages. And of course people are always like, oh, I would love to do this and I would love to do that. But I actually worked really hard at trying to contact the right people. And I can't even express how it felt to finally go up and do a speech and say, it's open, we've worked really hard, and now please use it. Go there. Don't be afraid. And actually, Counselor Somerville was supposed to cut the ribbon, and he said, you know what? I can see how much passion that you have for this and how much hard work went into it. I want you to do it. And as lame as it is, I still have that ribbon that I cut.
That's not lame.
At home.
That's a personal accomplishment right there. You're a part of why that ribbon was cut. That's nothing lame. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Now, I have to ask, I mean, social networking is a huge part of everyone's life, whether it's BBM or Facebook or whatever it might be, Twitter. How does this take advantage of the social networking opportunities? Because obviously a lot of youth use it. So do you guys promote within social networking?
Yes. I've even been promoting it on Facebook by posting photos and pictures. We even have, Halton, so it's not just Health at 232, it has a Twitter. So if you wanted, a lot of parents go to the Twitter. And they found it quite a useful tool, kind of letting you know, oh, this is that's now open, look into it. And for some of the parents, they, pass on the information, which is always great. And, yeah, Facebook. And, yeah, it's been great tools. Thankfully, everything is pretty much on the computer or the internet. And thankfully, once you reach 12, you know pretty much how to use a computer inside and out. So
precisely,
finding any sort of information is
not difficult
for anyone.
Right. And so my last and final question for you before we close off the interview is, what would you give advice to someone who's looking to perhaps, because I'm going to say this to you and this might flatter you, but you're seen as a role model because of what you've done, and other people might, say, wow, that's really impressive. So where would you give someone advice who's in high school? What kind of advice are you going to get involved? Like, where would they start?
I would say don't be afraid to do something that not everyone's doing. Like, you don't always have to follow the crowd. If you want to make a difference, like, I don't want to be quoting anybody, but as Gandhi said, like, be the change you want to see in the world. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I know that I wanted to work on these projects, and I know I wanted to talk about sexual health. So I did it. And so the steps I would take is, first off, speak to your principal, and hopefully they can direct you with who you want to talk to, and then speak to your nurse and speak to any of the teachers that you seem to be very open and you're, willing to talk to, because we live in a great country where you can have all sorts of opinions now, and if you want something to be changed, nowadays the youth really get to be heard, and just, don't be afraid. Embrace it. Like, embrace the change you can make.
And my final question, I promise, is how influential have your parents been? Have they been supportive for you through this whole process?
Oh, absolutely. Like, my mom is great, and she's always asking me questions, and I was like, oh, I don't want to bore you or anything, but they've just been like, we're so incredibly proud with how much, effort you've put into this. And my speech was videotaped, and as soon as I came home, they're like, oh, okay, we have to watch it, because I wouldn't even let them go because I was too embarrassed. And I'm like, okay, I got to go upstairs because I can't watch it again.
Right.
But no, they've been phenomenal.
Well, you know what you've done? You've been doing some fabulous work. And the article is, if you go on oakvillebeaver.com and type in Bianca Nagy, you can find the article, and it is a fabulous piece of writing, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. And I thank you for coming in tonight, and you've been a wonderful guest, and it's been a lot of fun having you here in the show, and you're always welcome back. And if there's ever future events that you are doing for community involvement, or this clinic is doing, please let us know.